Joining me again is Russell Smart, chairman of the National Scouting Museum Task Force, which is part of the Philmont Ranch Committee. And over the last couple of weeks, we've looked at the Honor Medal program, and we've looked at one specific Honor Medal recipient back in 1912. But today we're going to talk about the first Gold Honor Award recipient. So Russell, it took a while for them to get a gold recipient in the books. Tell us a little bit about that individual and what happened.
Well, we talked a little bit about risk in the earlier one, and the levels of risk determine the level of award. The Bronze Award was for the least level of risk, but still heroic acts. Then the Silver Award was for a higher level of risk, where maybe you put your own life at risk. The Gold Award was unique. The original requirements for the Gold Honor Medal or Life Saving Award was that the scout had to die in trying to save a life or in saving a life, that the scout lost his own life in doing that. So that's pretty severe to have that sort of requirement, but that was the importance that was given to the level of the Gold Award. So from one sense, thankfully, no scout had died in trying to save a life. There'd been a lot of life-saving acts, but no scout had actually died. And the committee, the National Court of Honor, chaired by Daniel Carter Beard, was actually looking at changing the requirements to remove that very onerous restriction. And then in 1917, 4 nominations came into their consideration for 4 scouts, each of whom had lost his life saving the life or attempting to save a life.
So tell us about the scout that you have on display here at the summit.
Well, among those 4 was a young man named Robert Eicher. E-I-C-H-E-R, Robert Eicher. Robert was a second-class scout, 14 years old, who lived in Jeanerette, Pennsylvania. He had just learned to swim, so he was not a great swimmer at this point. They were on a picnic down by the falls there in Jeanerette on one August day in August 1917, and another young girl who was there at the picnic got into trouble in the water. And Robert dashed in, fully clothed, but trying to do his duty as a scout to save the life of this little girl, and both of them sadly drowned. But Robert was very heroic in that he did everything he could to try and save the life of this young girl.
Now, you mentioned that 4 were awarded that initially, and that they were all posthumously. Where did he fall into that order?
Well, Robert, it happened, was the first application that had come in, and therefore he was the first one that was given consideration for approval. And so during the proceedings of the National Court of Honor, all 4 of the young men were approved, but they were approved in the order in which the nomination had been received, and Robert's was the first. So that makes him unique in that regard.
Now, Robert also had another unique feature to the display that's here, a letter that he received, or his mother received.
That's
right. Can you tell us about that?
So, as I said, August 11th, 1917 was when the event occurred where Robert lost his life attempting to save the life of the young girl. Before the month was out, Robert's mother had received a letter of condolence from past President Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt was a great supporter of scouting. In fact, he's the only individual ever in the history of the Boy Scouts of America to be given the actual title of Chief Scout Citizen. The president is, our honorary president of the Boy Scouts, but Theodore Roosevelt, as past president, was the Chief Scout Citizen. And so in his capacity, he wrote the letter to Robert's mother, giving her condolences and his sorrow at having learned of the loss of the life of this young, heroic scout.
That's all the time we have for this week. Join us next time as we continue to learn more about the history of the Boy Scouts of America through the collection of the National Scouting Museum and Artifact of the Week.